Hello and welcome back to Building Roots Abroad. I'm Giovanna, your host and a curious podcast lover who is always looking for news stories. In today's episode, we have Jason, a French guy who turned his lifelong dream of studying abroad into reality. At just 16 years old, Jason was already mapping out his future, handling the paperwork and preparing to leave Europe behind. And despite the high cost of studying as an international student, Jason not only made to the graduation, but also built an impressive career working now in the marketing department of a prestigious university here in Australia. Let's hear Jason's incredible story of resilience, growth, and how he built his roots abroad. Welcome guys to another episode of Building Roots Abroad. Today we are here with Jason. Jason is also a friend of mine. We worked together when I used to work in a bakery in the city. So I think it was like our first jobs here in Australia. And then also like we crossed paths when we were doing uni because we did the same uni. So yeah, I'm very glad to have him today here because he has like a very similar kind of like pathway to the one I did. So yeah, welcome Jason, and I would just let you introduce yourself.
Easy. So hello everyone, I'm Jason. I'm 21 years old. Moved to Australia 3 years ago from France where I was born and raised. And thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm feeling very honoured.
Thank you.
I am really glad because we crossed paths really early on my years in Australia, and I've always found you very inspiring. So I'm glad that now I can share my experience in Australia after being here for 3 years. So thank you.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm very like proud of everything because I really saw you like in the first steps of your journey. So yeah,
thank you.
Very both proud of ourselves. So yeah, let's start with the background and motivation of everything, like on how you started living abroad. So what motivated you to decide to live overseas, like to start and move from France?
So when I was young, we do start to learn English at like a really early age. And I knew I liked it. I knew the word was big. However, my parents didn't really like to travel that much. So I've always had that willingness to leave the country as soon as I was going to be old enough. So yeah, I guess that's where it started from.
How did you know that you would prefer to do university, considering like university is very affordable in Europe? So it's kind of like, it's a big decision, I'd say.
So yeah, I did start to look universities in Europe. However, I wanted to go in a business school. What we call business school in France is not public, so you have to pay. Fees sometimes can get quite expensive. Not as expensive as studying abroad, but still quite lengthy. So may as well just go abroad at that point. So that's like the beginning of the story.
And then how did you choose Australia?
So ideally, I was obsessed with America at the time. I think a lot of people did at some point. However, we all know it's not affordable. I looked into the UK. However, with the Brexit, it was expensive as well now. So it was either South Africa or Australia. Australia was very well regarded about universities and like really prestigious. So that's where I started to look at Australia,
Yeah, that's cool because you already had the plan to actually do uni here. I was not like, I just came and then I was kind of following the vibe. No, you already had a plan, which is so cool. Going to a bit like the first impressions and culture kind of like adaptation, what were the biggest difference between Australia and France in the first place?
Obviously, language. Language was a very big barrier. And I guess being on my own, like move out, because I used to live in a countryside at my parents' home, like, and then the second day I was living myself alone in like a big city, in the middle of a big city. Like that was a very big change.
Why Brisbane? I know like it's very like random question.
Well, I knew that Melbourne and Sydney were going to be full of other international people, and I really wanted to get that Australian experience. Like, I wanted to go there and just like get as much as the culture I could get. So I was like, yeah, I think that's the place. And I like the mountains. It's not dry.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, no, I think that's the place.
Yeah, I kind of agree on that.
And the size of the city is just perfect.
Yeah, you definitely have the Australian experience.
Oh, and, yeah, I sure did.
And I can see that a lot, even like in the way that his English improved. Like, I met you, I don't even remember that, I don't think your English was bad at all, but I think you got a lot of like the Australian slangs and the way to speak and the accent, so definitely worth it if you invest to merge in the culture. Because I believe, of course, in Melbourne, we can see Australians and talk to Australians, but I've been there many times and it's different. Just international people, so...
I feel it also depends on you, what you're looking for, because I feel like, for example, I remember my first year in Brisbane, I lived in a student accommodation. There's just like international, and it's comfortable.
So comfortable.
Because it's not as scary as having to speak to a native, which can be very intimidating. Which still can be sometimes. Like when not so much now, but when I used to talk to old people, the oldies, they would scare me because their English, you don't want to like disappoint them, and you really want to sound good to them and try your best, but sometimes they just speak so fast, and you're like,
the accent and the cafe we used to work. Wow, I think the target was old people. Yeah, we had groups of people on Sundays, and it was very hard.
They don't joke around with their coffees. You can't mess with that. It
needs to be like extra hot. So definitely a challenge. But I can see how much, I think it's one of the best accents.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think you emerged very well. And I understand you came here to study, you can even talk about that, the diploma in marketing.
Yeah.
How living here, studying the diploma shaped the place you are now?
The backstory of the diploma is that, so I looked into universities. I was going to do a bachelor. Looked into University of Queensland, which is amazing but very expensive.
Yeah, I think
and QUT. And then I found out that you can transfer credits towards your university degree. So I looked into what kind of study you can do and then get it transferred in there. So TAFE Queensland was doing it, which is, by the way, TAFE Queensland, do not listen to people. TAFE was a very great experience. I know a lot of people say you go to TAFE if you don't get into uni. TAFE was worth it.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good because there is the vocational course level, which is the diploma, and they are the best, in my opinion.
They really are. It was a really very small cohort, so you could get to know your teachers on a personal level. They were like genuinely interested in what you do and what you want to be, and they also, most of them also have businesses, so it was very inspiring to talk to them. And it's not as hard as actual uni, and you learn as much. So I did that. And then I transferred to uni after a year, which was actually very hard. I had a little struggle. And then how it shaped me as a person, I guess the fact that I literally left after high school. When you're 18, you don't know what you want to do. And I remember looking at like all the things you could do in the business, like majors, and none of them just sounded like, I didn't even know what any of them means. Like,
I remember we had so many chats about it. You're like, what that one means?
I didn't even know. And so I thought that having a double diploma would be a good thing to kickstart my career.
Yeah, like give you some guidance.
Yeah, exactly. And then already have something on my resume. And then after a year of marketing, I had a better idea of what to do and like the different fields and all that. So I think it just gave me a clearer idea. I felt like I had more experience knowing, and then obviously having a loan that I have to repay also forced me to be motivated. It still does. Like if you don't have a clear plan, like there's no way you can pay back.
Literally, like I think it's very good that you touch base on that, because we always, like, of course we are talking about everything that went well, but I think the main challenge that is hidden on all this topic is the financial, because here in Australia, talking about myself as well, university is very expensive and we have to work because we have also the bills, and then even if we have support from our parents, which is not the case always, is the cost of living here is more expensive because people get more money. So I think it was two like very nice things that he decided to do, in my opinion, which was like the TAFE, because TAFE is a little bit more like affordable than
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, it saved me about, I can tell you, it saved me about 20 grand.
Because instead of like doing 3 years of a Bachelor of Business, you pay 2 for like
Yeah.
the university and 1 for TAFE.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's much more like affordable and, as he said, less stressful, because you can still you can still learn stuff, but you don't have like the pressure of being at uni.
Honestly, it was the best experience ever.
Yeah, and then the second thing that you mentioned is the loan, because then we already had someone in our podcast from Norway, and she kind of decided the same thing. She decided, I prefer going and having this experience even if I have to get a loan from Norway, because I know there I will get also work experience that maybe in Norway will be harder.
Yeah.
And now she has to pay everything, but it's like you said, like you push yourself to do the best, to have like a grad job and to have everything beforehand because you have loan to pay.
Yeah.
So I think it's to like people of course complain that it's expensive and everything, and it is, but the challenge, like you gave it a solution, so I think it's very good
Yeah.
to
Thank you.
to stress that, because we're just like, oh yeah, everything went so well, but
It didn't. There was so many struggles. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and I was like very in the beginning, so I
yeah,
remember
literally.
we were doing like a lot of calculations. Oh, a semester costs
Yeah,
this.
and you're like 16, not even. And I was like at night looking up on my computer, and I was like prices of groceries, and I was trying to like browse through their catalogs and see like the prices of food, and making myself like fake meals for a week and see how much that would cost.
When you were 16.
Yeah, and I made a whole spreadsheet to show how much a year would cost and how much I could expect to make working 20 hours a week. And then the day I turned 18, because I needed a loan, my parents couldn't afford it. The day I turned 18, said, Mom, drive me to the bank. Went to the bank, showed that guy or everything. I was like, I was accepted in this university. I need that much money. I expect to do this much money and spend that much per year for the next 3 years. And the guy was like, yeah, deal. I get you the money.
Wow. I didn't know like specifically that. So you plan everything ahead, like 2 years
everything ahead. And I didn't want to go to my parents and be like, I want to go there and do this. And the day I had pretty much everything sorted, I showed my parents and I was like, that's what I want to do. And at first they're like, oh, okay. And then, the more you talk about it, the more you show papers, the more it becomes real. So yeah, that's how it started. And then, got the loan, and that's why the thing started.
I think, it's beautiful. Honestly, very nice. And do you think the spreadsheet you created afterwards was could match with the real life, or just out of curiosity? No. More
alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol is like taxed as...
And food as well. And, there's a lot of things that you don't think when you're 16 and live at your parents forever. Like, you're like, oh, just have noodles every day. That's fine. But you don't realise the toll it gets on your mental health.
Yeah, of course now we have our full-time work, but when you're a student, everything counts.
And you don't realise, but moving abroad, you do not have all the things you're not grateful for, because you're used to it, but then when you move here you have nothing. It's like the silly things that you don't even realize when you like grow up, and then when you actually move somewhere you're like, oh, I have nothing, I need to like start buying things,
everything,
and
setting up. I know, it's quite interesting. Talking about education still, so then you did your course at TAFE, and then kind of like when you left France, you already told your parents, oh, I'll be there for the whole university period, or you just, oh, okay. So you already knew that after TAFE you would... So it was all planned. I knew I was going to do my 3 years until QUT and graduating, and that was the plan. Actually, congratulations, because now he just finished his course. He's going to be graduating soon, and it's also very nice that we are doing this at uni, like that's our uni, we are in the library, so it's kind of like on the topic. But how do you feel like that now you finish your degree?
Very relieved. Happy to be able to now work full-time without having to like juggle between both. Because it does take a toll on you having responsibilities at work and then both having responsibilities at uni. Sometimes it's really hard to do both. Like, you get very tired of it. Yeah,
I agree. So then overall your uni experience was like nice, but at the same time kind of like couldn't wait to finish.
Yeah, like
Ish.
it was nice, but I think that I was maybe a bit too absorbed with work already.
Yeah.
Like, you know how some people have a very just, like, they just go out every time and they enjoy university a lot? I feel like I wasn't in the same place as these people and, like, not in the same mindset because I was already, like, work focused.
Yeah. Yeah, so would you say, like, you had, like, any challenge during your study life, or...
I had trouble getting used to QUT. I hated it, and at first, the first semester was hell. I wanted to quit because I was with different people all the time, and not that I'm not extroverted, but you know, it was also earlier on, and I wasn't really sure about my English. Like I felt weird, like speaking in public and stuff. So yeah, it was hard. I didn't really have good fun with it the first semester.
Yeah, a lot of challenges, and I think a lot of people covered that topic about like how hard it is for internationals to make friends in university in Australia. So yeah, I definitely think uni clubs and stuff like that helps a lot, because in the classroom, like in your unit, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. It's luckily, well, you and I both worked, so I think working is a really good way to make friends.
Yeah, 100%.
We made good friends. Like, there's a job that I stayed there for 2 weeks, not even, I think it was 1.5, worked with a guy, like 3 shifts, and we still talk now.
That's so good.
Yeah, so working is like the way to make friends.
Yeah, you can bond more.
Yeah, well, I guess if you know what you like, join clubs. Even though it's annoying putting yourself out there, you have to do it. And then that's how you make a few friends.
Yeah, it's like low-key fake in the beginning. Like,
it is.
But then, of course, I think everything in life you have to try and see.
Yeah, and once you get used to like the norms here, because obviously it depends from where you're from, but it's different the way you chat. The culture is very different. Like, you can have a chat with everyone. You can have a good chat, a good time. That doesn't mean you're friends with them.
Yeah, I agree.
That can be hard.
I think now it's very easy for us to say because we've been living here for so long, but definitely in the beginning, especially at uni, you're not used to like the small chats Australians do and how they are like, I wouldn't say fake because it's a bad word, but I would say like
nice.
friendly, but
friendly.
Doesn't mean that you're gonna like have lunch together, and that's very confusing coming from where I come.
Me too, because where I'm from, you acknowledge people, you just say the strict minimum. You're just going to be hi, nothing else. While here, it's like...
How are you? Like you're
saying...
saying...
how you going? And as in like, just like a polite way of saying hi. But then I wouldn't say it's fake because I do like it. I feel like it puts a smile on your face. It's better than everyone just being like, hi, hi, hi. Because even though people don't mean it, it's easier to ease into a conversation with people and get to know them. Yeah. And it's also nice because you feel like, someone acknowledged me today. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the things I like about Australia is that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there are a lot of things that they do to acknowledge yourself. Like, talking about your outfit. Yeah. I think it's such a thing, like, that happens in Australia. Like, you can wear literally anything, at least from, like, my point of view. And someone will be like, I love your jacket. Like, I love your shoes.
Like, it's very nice, and I feel like it did like I'm the same now. Like,
you can't I would
never be extroverted in France. Like, I would always keep it to myself. But here, if I see someone and I like the outfit, I'll tell them. Like, you know, like and I'm not scared to have a chat with someone that I met on the street. Like,
yeah, I know. So there were like moments that you thought you couldn't finish your degree. I think one thing that you could also answer with that question is like how you got your first job, because I think what kept you studying, considering everything we talked, was the fact that you got your internship and your marketing experience early on.
Yeah. So it's funny that we talk about it, because now that I'm like going back through all that, it kind of like makes sense. It's all linked together. But so struggles that when I thought I couldn't finish my uni, 2 struggles. First one, when I said I had trouble and struggled adapting to QUT. And then second, at some point, I did spend more money than I thought I would, and I wasn't sure I was going to have enough to cover my last semester. True. And that was very stressful, because I would have had done 2.5 years of my life studying without being able to finish it, and then just have to come home. That would have been the biggest... like the worst thing ever. So that was something I was very stressed about. Even though I worked crazy hours, like at some point I worked a lot. You remember
Yeah, I
that?
remember you had like 3 jobs. Or
Three
something.
jobs, yeah, and uni on top. But so those were the two biggest struggles. How did I get into working? Well, obviously I needed to work because even though I had a loan for my study, that wasn't going to cover my living expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work. I applied like crazy because obviously I had very limited experience, very limited English. Started working in OSPO. Best way to improve your language
And to get some money.
and to get some money and to get some friends. I think that was probably the hardest. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but my first work experience was crazy. It was so hard.
The marketing one.
No,
Oh,
no.
the
Working in the
hospitality,
hospital, yeah. Because you have to
Yeah.
get used to the language, to everything. It was so hard.
Mhm.
But we worked hard and
Yeah.
personal growth, working in hospital,
Yeah.
do it.
And, yeah, because like we improved our English.
Yeah.
But also we kind of like was the moment where we adapt to the country.
Yeah.
And this is also hard.
And-
But then I remember because the place we used to work, I don't think that is a problem saying the name, but it's called Le Bon Choix. So it was like a French bakery,
Yeah.
which I think was so good for you because
Yeah.
like we had to say bonjour every day, and then people would like sometimes answer in French, and I think you were the only one that could actually keep a
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
I was
like-
just like saying ça va, and that's it. So yeah, and then you had all of that, and I remember being so glad to have that job because I was like,
Me too.
yeah,
I was
because
like, why would people eye me? Like, I don't even speak English.
yeah, literally. So I think I agree with you. I think it's the hardest. Like
Yeah.
like the first job doesn't matter which one it is. I really like don't know how people can, if there is, but people come here already working their field
Yeah.
because like
That's crazy.
you need the baby steps.
Yeah, yeah. You need to get an idea of what's it like, get used to the language,
The people.
the people, because it's a lot to take on. Like, new country, new, everything is new. It's very uncomfortable. It's hard. And then on top of this, you need to put yourself out there, find a job, and then do well on that job. So I was very glad that he was French, because then I had an excuse to be shit at English.
True. Yeah, because like I think if he had like an French accent while speaking English, everyone would be like, "Oh, they are so French here." And
So
you're
it
like,
was, yeah. So people were getting the good experience, and I was as well, because they were expecting to have like a French guy in front of them. So that was good. And then what did I do? I stayed there for a year,
Yeah.
which was pretty good.
Mhm.
I kind of liked it. Did a bunch of different jobs. I tried everything, honestly.
Yeah. At some point, you had even 3.
Yeah, I
yeah.
went cleaning, like front desks. I did barista. I did runner. Worked in a restaurant. I worked in a bar as a bartender. I did so much.
I remember.
Yeah, I tried so much stuff just because you need to survive and you
Yeah.
need to put yourself out there.
And you had also the loan kind of like on your back.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
yeah. It's
And I'm
not
like,
that
I need to make a living.
yeah, I cannot just forget that did
Yeah.
that happen.
And
yeah.
so
And
the
then
way
how
I
we-
got
like, yeah.
into marketing, so after TAFE, I was like, all right, now I feel like I'm ready. I feel like my English is improved. I have a degree on my resume. I know how like work works. So during the summer holiday, when I was back home, because I went back home for about 3 months, I set up a portfolio, a website portfolio. Didn't have that much.
Oh, I
Do you remember?
remember that. Oh my god, he's so skilled.
Didn't have that much experience with marketing, but I wouldn't say lie. I would say be smart about it. Use your assignments as references of your work, as example of your work. I didn't have experience. I didn't have any examples. I used my teacher feedbacks on my assignments. I used my assignments as actual proofs. And yeah, I made a whole website myself.
Yeah.
And then when I came back here, I remember, because the day I had a week at QUT, I had a marketing interview right before, did the marketing interview for a paid internship, and I got it.
Wow.
So the same day that before I got into QUT, I had a paid internship, and then 3 months in that paid internship, I had my current workplace who called me to work as a marketing assistant.
Oh my god, yeah, I think I have so many things to kind of like add on that. The first one is like, impressive on the insight he had, because I remember we had some chats, but then I remember when he sent to me the portfolio and I was so impressed. I was like, I would never think about it. I know everyone knows, oh yeah, if you work in marketing you should be that portfolio, but when you're just finished a vocational course that is not even a uni course, and then you have the insight to create a portfolio, use like your assignments or like reviews or whatever, and then create that in a way that is professional enough that people will like see the value, because like you can even work, I don't know, with like a big company and then get big results, but if you cannot showcase, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
As well as you can like just do like a uni assignment, but if you know like what you got out of it, like it's enough. So I remember when he texted me like, oh yeah, I got a paid internship, and he didn't even start uni. I was like, oh my god, I'm so proud and everything. It's just like amazing. I think it's such like an inspirational thing that you did, and also like very good way to teach people on how get out of your comfortable zone.
I think you really need to think as like, what would the employer be looking at? Because you're like, I am not Australian. Why would they hire me over someone else? So you need to show that, especially in marketing, in our fields, like especially if it's like paid ads, I'm like going to be referred to SEO and paid ads.
Like
you're going to think of the employer is going to spend money on you. Let's say if you start, it's going to be 60K a year. You need to prove that person that maybe they're going to spend 60K, but with all your experience and what you can do, you're going to make them make 100,000 or like, so then they got 40K more. You need to think like that. So then you just need to do like as much as you can. Like I didn't just did this and then first like thing I saw applied, got the job. Like I had so many phone calls, so many interviews, and I didn't get the jobs.
Yeah, that's
I probably
also
applied to like 200 to 300 things and got like 10, 15 interviews. Only 2 worked.
Wow, so impressive. Amazing. And talking about the job you have now, can you just explain a little bit of like what you do?
So I work for a university, so I do advertising and marketing for the medical research division. So my day-to-day life would probably I'm not specialized, like we're a little marketing group, so it's not like I specialize in doing something. We do marketing of pretty much everything. So we cover paid advertisement, content creation, we do organic social media, a lot of community management as well, because medical research gets a lot of hate. And we create billboards, we outreach as well, so we do media releases, we get news to come, and then we organised all that. So that's
good.
That's pretty much the day to day. It's very good, very much like it. It's very nice.
Very nice. And then is that to recruit like people to study at uni or to work in the research?
So medical research, we for a new medicine, for example, or a new way to administer medicine, you need people to come and try it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so that's this.
Like to get like a new vaccine, so then you have to advertise out there.
So, for example, I'm going to talk about that one because it's a bit of a... have you heard of Ozempic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we...
Like the one to get
the
skinny?
The weight loss, yes. The weight loss. So Ozempic, for the one who don't know, is a treatment that you use for diabetes. However, it has been proven, especially in America, that you can use it to lose weight. In Australia, it's not approved by the FDA, which is they regulate all the drugs and stuff. So you can get it prescribed, but it's off-label, so it's not really like a good way to do it. So by gathering data, by trying it on people, we can then prove and be like, oh no, it's safe, and we know how much you should get and for how long. So once this is done, then it's get approved. So yeah, we do medical research for Ozempic, and we do also for all those cancers and stuff like this. So yeah, it's challenging.
Of course,
because it's not the typical marketing you think you do. Marketing can be very fun, but it can also be very hard. So you very need to be innovative. But yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half.
Very cool.
Very good. Very good experience while studying at uni.
Yeah, very nice. And then, you've been working there for, because that was literally after your internship, isn't it?
Yeah, I was doing both. So I was still
Oh, yeah,
working
true,
in the
true.
I was still working in the cafe early morning, and I was doing my internship, which was paid, and then I was working at that job too, plus
Yeah.
uni.
That's what I meant about having three
The
jobs
three
at
jobs,
the same
yeah.
time. Yeah, I remember that.
But that was that was before the 24 hours that our working hours got capped.
Oh yeah, 'cause-
Sadly.
Yeah, because now, like, if you're an international student in Australia, you cannot work more than 24 hours, but
Yeah.
a week. But
Which is way enough.
I don't
I think
think you can do much with just
if,
part-time jobs.
if you want to, because you want to enjoy Australia, be good at uni and make money, and I think that's the perfect. Even 24 hours sometimes a bit too much, but
Yeah.
you do need to make the money. So
Yeah, it's definitely like we could do that also because we were like I was here before, during, and after COVID.
oh yeah,
So I was here
so
like
you get
the
the 20.
I got everything. Yeah, I got the 20.
Oh no.
I started working as a marketer with like when I could only work 20, and then I got. Anyways, I probably just worked 1 month like that, and then we got the whole like 40
Yeah.
hours because of COVID. So we were lucky, I would say. Like we done many things, just because the law changed.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
now.
You guys, her LinkedIn's crazy. You got so much experience too.
Oh my god, yeah,
Her LinkedIn's wild.
yeah. We try, right? So, what was the most like valuable lesson you learned in your career? I would say even like that you're still learning, and then you want to use for your future like plans and career plans you have in Australia. But
I would talk about my mentor. I had a mentor. Out of a 2 hours lunch, I learned so much.
it was a mentor from QT. Yeah.
Q2 mentorship something. I received an email and I was
Yeah,
like, you know
I
what,
have
I'll just
one.
try it. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have actually two. One, it was like in digital marketing, which is what I do now. And the other one, he's not even in marketing, he's like in IT, but he's Brazilian. So
Oh,
that's why I think
yeah,
we connected.
clicked a
And
bit,
then
yeah.
he was like, yeah, we should, you know.
Yeah, no, I was like, I have an expectation, and then you can get to see profiles, and they matched me with him, and I saw the profile, and I was like, that's like what I aspire to be, like I'm talking about like $1 million marketing business,
Yeah.
and funnily enough, we shared the same name, so yeah, we met for 2 hours, and I was like,
So good.
that was so good, so much insight. I came to him and I said, I want to be a marketing specialist within the next 2 years, and I also want on the side, because I'm majoring in entrepreneurship and innovation for my
Yeah.
business, and I said on the side I want to be an entrepreneur, and because he's an entrepreneur and he's in marketing as well, so that was the perfect person. And he just gave me so much insight, so much information.
That's so good. So
So-
that was maybe like the highlight of your like learning experience.
Honestly, yeah.
That's so good.
So inspiring, and I think everyone should get a mentor. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but tried it and very valuable.
Nice. And then just out of curiosity, like you want to do your entrepreneur life related to marketing, or it's just like a brainstorming
Just more of a brainstorming.
Yeah.
It's
kind of phase?
yeah, my degree really, because in entrepreneurship you get a lot of business owners coming to you and presenting what they do and how they did it, and it's just very inspiring, and I really like that, and I aspire to be like that one day. But obviously, visa requirements, I cannot just fully immerse myself into try to be an entrepreneur when I have, like, I need to be financially viable because
We
of my
need to
lawn
be fighting for like
and fighting for a
rights.
life. Yeah,
Which is like sounds very dramatic, but it's
it is.
literally what it is.
Yeah.
Like fighting for
Something I'd recommend to someone who wants to come to Australia and stay long term, plan. You'd think I did a lot of planning, not as much as I should have, because you need to plan what work you want to do, and then if that work is on the skill list, and then how to get your skills assessed in that work, because sometimes it can take a few years of actual practice of doing that job. So, yeah, practice.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
And planning.
You need to have plan A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
because also the law changes a lot. That happened to me. I would even say like you plan a lot, but also try to enjoy a little bit. If it doesn't work, it's not for you. I don't think worth stressing that much, because at some point
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, if in fact, like, if all the plans doesn't work, I think
It's for a reason.
yeah, it's for
It's-
a reason.
For me, it worked out so far. Everything worked out well with all the struggles, and I think it's for a reason. Like, of course, you try your best, but it's for a reason too. So.
Yeah, so funny. Yeah, I would just go like on top of like the Australian topic. I think very like on the on top of building roots abroad name of the podcast. What's your like thoughts about building roots abroad and also the community
So
in Australia?
for me, when you told me the name of the podcast, I was like, so what does it mean to me, building roots abroad? And it's like, it's making like an unfamiliar place your home. And it's like building a sense of belonging as well.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to live, so it's not about going and live somewhere just for the sake of living somewhere. It's actually seeking like connection, and you want to feel that sense of belonging, which I do. I don't know about you, but every time I leave Australia, I miss it.
Yeah, feel very
So-
attached.
Yeah, it's like be part of the community, try your best, get to know the culture, respect it, obviously, and yeah, just like it can be, the sense of belonging can be like different more than what you think. It can be personal growth, or you can like be here because you have a goal, and then that can like give you a sense of belonging, and also like friendships, because if you don't have friends, you're not going to enjoy your country anyway. But then
Yeah.
if you get more friends and they show you their culture, then that's how slowly you become one of them. So
Yeah.
that's building roots abroad. It's literally this. It's like, it's not the country you're from where you have roots. You just literally it's like you take a tree, get cut their roots, and then put it in Australia, and then slowly, with like a little bit of water, that tree just grows roots again. And then,
So beautiful. I love
that's what the meaning of the podcast is to me.
it. Beautiful. I think the best one so far. I
Oh,
love
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, and then talking about the community, then do you feel you built your community here?
I think so. There's always going to be moments where you're like, I don't know about that. Like, you're always going to discover new stuff, and you're always going to be not Australian, but you're always going to be like, oh yeah, you're like from France, or like you're like from that country. Like, not in a mean way, but obviously, like, you would do the same if like someone in your own country were from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And also, you always speak about your own country because like you always compare stuff.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I not belong, but I do feel like now I share a bit of the community with them because, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
used to it. I'm part of
Yeah.
Australia now.
And especially as that we kind of grow up as adults like here, it's very hard to not feel like that, I guess. Like, I
Yeah.
feel very attached to Australia, even.
Because of all your friends and all the things that are happening, and also slowly, your roots back home fade. They don't fade, but life goes on over there, and you're just not part of it. Like, for us, because we're not from countries where they speak English, for example, something silly like songs. The new songs, we don't hear them. But then when you come back, you're like, oh, I don't know this. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird. Or even the way the language evolves, because the language evolves every day. And then
The
they have new
slangs.
sayings, new slangs, and then you go back there and your friends are saying stuff, and you're like, you're speaking nonsense to me.
Yeah, literally.
And then you just don't feel like you belong that much.
Yeah,
now.
and then here, like, at the same time, you start, like, talking in the way that they talk.
Yeah.
So you all the time, like, yeah, I reckon, like, yeah, back in the
Yeah.
day, like, you start kind of, like, using that as your own kind of, like, new personality
Yeah,
as well,
and
without even
And
realizing
it's like your
it.
everyday life now. And also, the fact, I think you could relate to that in a sense because you studied uni in Brazil.
Yeah, I did
but-
2 years there and 2 years here.
From me, who lives in the countryside, when you finish high school is when you're going to spread with everyone else. And uni is the moment when you make new friends. But I didn't have that back home because I only went to uni here. So all my current friends that I'm talking every day with are Australians or people here. But my friends from home, they're just childhood friends. So I don't really feel like if I go back there, I really belong there. My adult life, that's what I always say. My childhood life is in France, but my adult life, like paying rents, paying my bills,
Doing tax,
working,
like-
doing my taxes.
I don't even know how to do back home.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know how it works, but here I can do everything. So like my adult life is in Australia.
Yeah. So I think just to close up a bit the episode is the polemic question. Do you feel you're going to keep building your roots in Australia? Like, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I do want to stay in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't know how much I'm ready to fight for it.
Oh, yeah, because it's such a fight, guys. Talking about myself,
Yeah.
been fighting a lot.
Yeah. So, especially in the field of marketing, which isn't the easiest to get in.
Like, it's not
you
the
need-
easiest or easy.
You know, it's not the easiest
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
not the
it's
easiest.
the hardest.
Yeah.
It's like you need to know your limits. I feel like you need to know your limits. I'm ready to fight, but I have a limit. And if that goes over, I will go somewhere else. It's not as if I'm a refugee.
I mean,
I'm
like-
not running away from a war or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the economy back there is still okay. Like, it's just...
I think it's one of the best in Europe.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I never
yeah.
heard anything. Like, I always hear about Portugal, Spain, and Italy. Like,
Yeah.
the salary doesn't exist and blah, blah, blah. But France, I always hear good
Yeah,
things.
so I don't know. I don't think I would come back to Europe unless I have to, because obviously if I need to leave somewhere else, first of all, I don't think I'm ready to go to, like, experience another culture. Like, I don't want to start it all over again. I've done it once, that's it. And also I have my loan on my back, so I cannot...
You have to focus on working and saving.
Yes, so I will try to stay in Australia within my limits. If I cannot, I would try to go to Canada, because as a French citizen, it's a bit easier. Because of
Oh, they
Quebec.
speak French.
They do,
Mm.
but it's a bit cold.
Yeah.
Or yeah, if I have to go back to Europe, I would probably try the UK or like.
Yeah.
like
But I don't believe you will later. The question is more like, do you feel that's your place? I would say, like,
Yeah.
you built your roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we just need to trust the process, because
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you have
And-
like very, very, very high chances.
Yeah, and also think, like, you need to make sure you need to make sure that you have a purpose in Australia. If you feel like there's no purpose, then don't stay.
Because
you
it's
know?
too hard as well. Like, doesn't-
It's really hard. Like, if you feel like it's worth fighting for, then do it. Honestly, that's something you don't know, but a lot of international students leave.
Mhm.
And if you're friend with international students, you'll see a lot of them leave.
Yeah.
And it can be unexpected. I've had someone who has been deported.
I do know someone.
Yeah,
as well.
it's...
Yeah.
So abide by the law, be good, and work hard.
Literally, I know,
And
like,
enjoy.
yeah, I know, like, the podcast, we bring people that built their roots now in Australia, because that's where we are now, but it's not always like that. I
Yeah.
think that's the main point. So yeah, I'm very sad to close the episode, because I think comparing to the other ones, this one I'm just like living my life, like, just, you know, but of course, like, we have to close. Do you have anything to like say before we close it?
No, if you're looking at that podcast thinking of whether you should come to Australia or not, do it. Just plan, but do it. And yeah, don't regret. If Australia is somewhere else, honestly,
yeah, somewhere else as
just, go abroad. Get out of your comfort zone is very important, and it will make you grow a lot.
Amazing, yeah. So thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
here with me today. Yeah, I really enjoy everything, and I think if you guys have any questions about anything that he mentioned, I'm pretty sure he will be keen to
Yeah,
respond on
100%.
LinkedIn or anything like that. I think it's the
Yep.
easiest way to find people to talk about those things. So yeah, thank you, and see you guys next time.
See you later.